You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Lindsay After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Lindsay After Show.
Oh, the fame of Lindsay Lohan.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Lindsay After Show, Part 7 and 8. We've got a double hitter for you, a double header. Lots to discuss. I'm Grant Rutter. With me today.
Hey guys, I'm Stephanie McGrath.
Hello, I'm Kylie Hodges.
We're all here, and we all are ready to just get into this last hurrah of everything, from personal to business to a miscarriage. I mean, there's just...
Yeah, what?
Whoa.
What? I mean, just too much just to handle all at once. While we're here, let me show you something I put together for our final episode.
This is what I previously prepared.
Check this out, this ridiculous thing. This is my legit Christmas tree, and this is, I wasn't lying, I'm really showing, I mean, this is a smaller version of what I had, but here they all are.
Oh, this isn't even
glory.
that you have another that's bigger.
Well,
you
these are usually at a full-size tree, and yeah, I mix it in with ornaments and things, but this is just a small one, and it's true.
Now,
and I thought now would be the time to show it. And
Grant, when you told us originally that you had a Christmas tree with all the Lohan not headshots, but maybe are there headshots, mug shots on it. I thought you were lying, but here it is.
Oh, no, I really am crazy. No, I really am.
It doesn't surprise me that our shining light is Dina.
Dina at the top. Dina right there at the top.
Oh, what a classic
She's looking
photo.
real good.
Yeah, the
too.
worst of
You
all
also
mug
picked
shots.
the best one. The best one.
Of course.
Yes.
The mother, and I mean, we're recording this on Easter Sunday, but we're showing up a Christmas tree anyway. I don't care. I mean, whatever.
There's a bit of theme to that. Lindsay did go Madison Square Garden and introduce Miley Cyrus during the Christmas holiday. So
There you go, it's fitting.
it's not completely out of there.
And Michael's well represented as well. We need to throw him in there as well.
Yes, he has, how many on there? 3?
Oh, I think he's got more than that.
I see.
I really
4.
tried to use them all.
4,
Yeah.
and he looks really creepy and gross in all of them. So.
This one's my favorite. Actually, this one's my
I
favorite.
mean, to be honest, guys, I don't think
he
it's
looks
really...
like he fell asleep.
Okay, we need to get to it, but it's nuts. What do you make of it? You're not saying something. You seem to have an opinion.
What, of your tree
Yeah.
itself?
Are you bothered by it,
There's
my
a
friend?
whole other issue you and I can talk about at the end of this.
There's no Christmas spirit on that tree.
No. Anyways, this woman has a lot going on. We need to get into it. We saw her doing a lot of different business projects. She wasn't paid for all of them, but she still showed up and did these projects. She maintained her status of being late, and then it seemed as the projects went along, she made a better appearance with time, and she was there, and she did her thing. It almost seemed like these last two parts just kind of cleaned up her act, but again, I think it's just editing. I don't know if she's really cleaning up and really on time, and once you're a late person, you're usually always late, because that's me.
Look, I agree with you. I think in some way they almost they put the little Christmas, the wrapping, the little bow on it.
Yeah.
Just to tie it all up, we're going to package it these last 2 episodes. Look, she is working. She does this all unpaid at the moment. Now, guys, the question I want to ask you, why do you think that they're showing the work that she's doing at the moment through this doco series where she's not being paid? Is it because, A, they're trying to show Lindsay's positive side here, that she does do work charitable in some way? Like, she doesn't always need, it's not all about money. She just loves it because she loves feeling like she's working. Or is it because she legitimately isn't getting any work that's paying her?
I think she's really just not working. And if AJ were in the picture, I think maybe paid work would be coming a little faster, but I think AJ would be pushing her to do these free events. So I think maybe she learned a little bit of wisdom from AJ, and she's putting it to use with her career, that she needs good exposure. And whether or not she's getting paid, this is going to benefit her down the long run. And granted, she didn't really take any wisdom when it came to meeting with Devon Franklin a couple episodes ago, but I will agree with you, Grant. I think that Lindsay does seem like she's mellowed out and cleaned up her act again. But again, how much is that in the magic of editing, and how much is she actually legitimately doing well?
She was painted that way, in my opinion. And like you mentioned, putting the bow on everything, I was hoping that they kind of weren't going to go in that direction. I was also curious, because it's no secret Lindsay gave this production company so much trouble. I wondered how they were going to have the final word. You know, it was up to them. You know, we came pretty close towards the end with it being almost present day, where there really was no room for network notes so much and for last minute changes. They just had to get this done. So they had control there and a lot of power, and that could have went either way. But I think ultimately maybe it's because of wanting to work more with Oprah, but it was done tastefully.
I wish that they had done a wrap up with Oprah. You know, they started it with Lindsay chatting with Oprah, like, you ready to do this? Let's do this. And I wish that they did like a recap, you know, like Oprah giving her, you know, maybe some guidance and wisdom, like, now that I'm done with you, this is how you should continue. This is what you can work on. This is what you've been doing great on. So just something.
There's something about it, about this whole entire production, that the more we've sort of thought about and watched Lindsay on this doco-series, and in particular with this past week, with us now getting all the interviews and how they wrap it all, perfect timing, how we've just seen, whether it be David Letterman, Andy Cohen, we've seen her on these shows, and they wrap it all up in the final episode, showing all this press, all this publicity. And it really makes you think. We know we've spoken about the OWN network. I'm going to jump straight into that, and I know we're going to hash out more about what we covered in these past 2 episodes. But we knew the OWN network was struggling for audience, it was struggling for viewer attention. I think it just seems there was so much between the two, I'm going to say the 2 properties in terms of the Lindsay Lohan and Oprah. They both needed publicity. They both were desperate for press. Combined together, what's going to sell? Some of Lindsay's antics. That's always going to sell. She has been fabulous all throughout her entire career that we've watched her going up, going down, up, going down. She will sell whether she's down, whether she's up. The entire docu-series does follow a roller coaster. Her antics a week ago was up, and then it finishes off down. It just kind of seems like, I wouldn't be surprised if Oprah announces the reunion, or she's going to sit down. Recap special. Possibly, maybe not. I know there's
I think they would have done that on the show, though, because I feel like if they are desperate for ratings, like everyone that I've talked to that watches this show or had watched it in the beginning but don't anymore, they were like, where's Oprah? Has Oprah been making an appearance? So could people want to see Oprah interact with Lindsay? Yeah. So I feel like it would have been smart for them to make that part of the finale, to really grab those viewers, to make them be there for the last episode.
I don't think it's going to happen. I wouldn't hold your breath. I don't think Oprah really has anything to say. We've seen the majority of the show of Lindsay making the same mistakes over and over. Oprah doesn't want to take ownership for that. No. You know, she's been trying to get the show off her schedule by burning off these 2 last episodes. It's just, I don't think that anything is going to come of it. It would be great if they bookended it like you mentioned with these interviews. But Oprah, I think, is just kind of.
I think she's kind of washed her hands.
She's washed and gone for it.
I mean, it's just, it wasn't, the comeback remains to be seen. So, of course, you know, maybe Oprah can swoop in and take some credit down the line. But for the time being, this show, I mean, you know, whether it's on TMZ, I'm talking about it with my grandmother, or somebody's watching it, everyone's just like, this girl is a mess. Like, it's making her look bad. She's sleeping too much. She's late for everything. So it's like the takeaway that people are getting from the show is not positive. So Oprah is just not going to want to jump on that.
So that's what I mean. I'm just still confused. What was the whole rationale behind? I'm trying to dig deeper. I just feel there's some.
The rationale behind what?
Actually airing this entire show.
Oh, like, yeah.
Who's making it? I'm like.
Yeah, I feel like this last...
Oprah doesn't come out in that good of a light, though, either. I mean, she doesn't come out negatively, but in some way for okay, maybe not. No, you're right, because she gives Lindsay a chance and Lindsay looks bad because she screws it up. But
I feel like this last episode fell flat, and that's because it seems like this series is not what they planned on it being. Now, I've said this time and time again, I would love to see, like, you know, pre-production notes before they started shooting with this. What was their plan with every episode? What was their final plan? I mean, this last episode was kind of a mishmash of just, like, updates on Lindsay from the last 3 or 4 months or so, and then a quick conclusion to all the controversies that have come up in the past, like, month or two.
Statements to it, you know, giving her opinion.
Yeah, which is interesting, and we can touch on that in a minute.
Yes.
But, you know, was that their original plan? And also, we've talked about this off camera, but this was supposed to be an 8-episode series. Naturally, that would mean 8 weeks. And suddenly, week 6, they announce, oh, surprise, we're ending at week 7 with a 2-hour special. You know, does that mean that the network was just trying to, like, get this off their channel and just get it over with and wrap it up?
I think so.
I mean, that's what we predicted last week.
Yeah.
We both said that, you know.
I mean, the OWN network has touted this as being a success in the light of it performing well. We've discussed this. It performing well in certain demographics than it did previous to Lindsay's premiere. The numbers are not a success, and the show is giving the network a lot of negative publicity. And in true Lindsay fashion, to get back to her business, she's promoting the show, and they mentioned that she was on Ellen and Andy Cohen. And in true Lindsay fashion, she's late. She's promoting the show at its last episode when they're trying to burn it off. That was a problem earlier where she really wasn't promoting the show. That's why they blamed it on her for the low ratings in the beginning. So it's like she's finally getting out there and doing it, and we're burning these episodes off. You're done. So it's just, the whole thing is so frustrating.
It's kind of like she knew that she screwed up, so she's trying to scramble and make some publicity to show, like, look, I did try. I did some publicity.
And the last couple of episodes, look, I am working, I am doing these things, I'm going to Shanghai, I'm all productive.
I'm accepting awards for things I don't understand that they're saying to me.
Exactly, regardless, but look, and I'm turning up on time, and it's like, a little too late, don't you feel?
Yes, yes. It's
you
totally
are
like you've done so much damage.
Too late.
Well, let's talk about the different trips she's taken.
Yes.
She went to Miami, which was going to be a great time. She's going to the Art Basel. Was that it? Was that it?
Basel?
Art Basel.
Yep.
Basel?
I don't know. Anyway, so she was staying with a friend, and she went to a party, and then
no, she was staying at the private island.
Oh yeah,
Star Island. That sounds so tacky.
It really does. It's so Florida.
Yeah.
Sorry, but I just think
There's
it's
like
tacky.
a jacuzzi in the bedroom.
As tacky as getting all the hair extensions just to go to Miami.
Yeah, $1,200.
I feel like I'm Miami, so I'm just gonna get lots of hair.
She spent $1,200 on that. And I mean, the hair later on in the
That's good for
episode
2
didn't look
months,
good.
Grant. That's 2 months. Like,
Well, you know,
really.
towards the end, I'm wondering if she kept them in because her hair looked real bad towards the end, and it was still the same length. And her hair was you could kind of see where the tracks were, and it just
This
wasn't
whole
looking good.
series, I've been like staring at her hair, like, my God, what is in there?
Well,
Can't be human hair.
all right. Enough of that
yeah,
hair.
anyway.
We're gonna get people haters. They're gonna be like, stop.
I know. I already
We're
hated
not
on
commenting
Florida.
on it.
I had to show a Christmas tree with Dina on it.
But do you
We're
see,
already
this is
salty.
what Lindsay's done to us. We're so salty about it now. Like, we have these bitter attitudes. All right, let's get back to the topic.
She's going. The thing I have to mention this. She's going to Miami, and she's talking about how she's an OCD packer. We saw this girl with this hot mess move for about half the episodes, and now we're supposed to believe that she likes to fold things a certain way. She is very selective. Give me a break. Really?
Yeah, we saw you throwing a Chanel dress into like a garbage bag in the first episode in your storage unit, Lindsay.
Yeah.
We don't believe you're
Yeah, we know you have issues with packing. We have seen it in. That's been the main. At least there's been one consistent theme throughout it.
Yeah,
It's been packing.
Yeah.
Her clothes, her life. We have seen that from day one.
So this chick was in Miami for 2 days, and she already got in trouble with Baron Hilton, Paris Hilton's brother, getting beat up allegedly by her entourage. And then when they asked her afterwards, they're like, so can you explain what went on in Miami? She's like, I don't want to explain anything. There's nothing to explain. So we really didn't get anything. Now, for what I've read is that she went to a party. There was this fight where Baron Hilton really did get beat up. That picture is real. And then she got thrown out of the party, and then early the next day, like 6 a.m., which is strange for her to be awake.
Yeah.
So I wonder if she slept. She went back to the scene of the crime and begged to get in to try to smooth things over and clear her name because she knew this was going to be a media mess.
No,
and
they didn't
let
say
her.
that in the show.
No, but this is what I've got.
Gossip.
And so basically they weren't going to allow her back in, so things leaked and it was all over page 6. She wrote this big statement that they never even allowed to be released, and they said her team wouldn't allow it. Who's left on her team that wouldn't allow it? I'm trying to think. Who aren't we seeing at this point?
I mean, I think that's, as I mentioned to you guys previously, that I think her team is the original team that's always been with Lindsay. They're not the hired production that have literally been hired just for the show.
Yeah, I'm sure there's
Lindsay's
PR
always
people.
Lindsay's always had a main group of team, whether that's been a good thing or a bad thing, whatever she's got into. But they've always been there. The people that we've seen that have come on the camera, and nearly all of them have come off it as well. They've all fired or left. Clearly, they were just there for the production. That's all.
And then we saw her go out to dinner with some friends. And now I have a question for you. What was it like the first time you guys got high? How ridiculous was that moment?
I smoked out of a honey bear bottle.
Yeah.
Editing or not, but that's not it's not a good reflection of your association.
No.
She constantly speaks about, in both of these episodes, about her ability to handle being around others who drink. And I can understand that. If she is strong with that, just because you are an addict, it's a lot of strength. I mean, I take my, hat off to you, Lindsay, if you can withhold that. Fantastic, okay? And a lot of addicts can. But to constantly be shown about all your friends, whether it's your Russian, who we see he makes another appearance, the earpiecing guy, doing drugs, doing alcohol, these people are all around you, and you keep saying, I'm really good now with picking my friends. I've been really selective. I've gone back and realised I've been hanging with the wrong people.
Her friends
to be honest,
sound really shitty.
You're still not with good friends.
But then she goes on, she said, I only really surround myself with the right people at this time of my life. And all of them are the wrong people.
I don't think she knows what good friends are because she's just been in like this toxic environment all her life.
She did celebrate that one girl when they were cooking in her apartment. She's like, oh yeah, she has like a day job. Like she's like a really good person. And I'm like, all right, okay, we've got one. Okay. And then let's keep in mind who's going to the Jingle Ball with her.
She was also the one that was saying, Lindsay, show people that you are wearing pants. Like, I like her. She's Team Lindsay.
That's
yeah,
hilarious.
she wanted to make and Lindsay's like, no, it's better if I. And she's like, no, please, just show the world you do wear pants.
Yeah, to the Jingle Ball, which
that's it.
Was something else. It seemed like that went well. She posted her pictures. She introduced. I don't know. Do you get paid for something like that? Is that a paid appearance? I assume so. It was a big show.
She didn't get paid. She said that she did it for free.
Yeah, because she loves to
interact.
Oh, yep.
Sorry, misread. Yes.
People.
So another free job.
She's amazing to me.
More interacting with fans. There were some heartfelt moments, weren't they?
Yeah, it was kind of cute. I'm just, so, I
know.
feel so jaded after this series.
That moment where she was on the red carpet taking pictures for Jingle Ball and getting ready and wanting to see Miley, it was juxtaposed with her talking about how she came from a family of celebrities or people in the biz. Her grandmother used to do radio soaps, and her mother was a rockette. And this has been debated in the news so many times, and there is no record that Dina ever danced as a rockette. There's not one picture or anything in the Bible listed. And I looked it up to see if there were any developments, and there's no record of this.
That's very funny.
So
I never knew that, but that sounds very low.
This guy out of anybody, yes, you'd certainly know about Dina.
All my useless information,
guys. I will ask you this question: what did you think about Lindsay's comment when she was going back to do community service? Because we were all kind of sitting there going, it's been a few weeks. Doesn't this girl have a fair few hours to do?
Yeah.
She's not going to go back to the gorgeous little kids. And before she goes back, she did make a comment about, I really just wish they would... I wouldn't have to do it anymore. Like, isn't this enough?
Yeah, she prays that enough is enough. She prays that enough is enough.
Enough is enough. Like, guys, I've had enough of it. Like, haven't I not done my time?
Is it really that torturous
what was
to
your
hang out
take?
with 3-year-olds? I must have missed that line. I didn't know she said that, but now I'm pissed.
She doesn't want the obligation to go. And it was like we said when we first saw her go to this place, this children's center in Brooklyn, that it just like it doesn't register with her that like this isn't like an afternoon task that you're asked to do. Like you need to. You're supposed to get something out of it.
Your wild line.
Yeah, you're supposed to be.
Don't get me started on that.
You're supposed to be getting something out of going to this, and you're supposed to be learning. This is like a punishment for you, and instead it's kind of like it's an obligation that she just doesn't really want to do. Like she has to get new hair extensions, and that's sorry. Like I mean, she enjoyed going. It's good to see her there. She's happy. She's the most genuinely happy I see her when she's with those kids and when she is talking about the business and movies and upcoming projects. But she just cannot get to it's a long road between getting to those points of happiness for her. Why can't she just realize that these are things that make her the happiest and surround herself with positive things? Instead, we're seeing all these shenanigans.
It's very self-involved of her to make that comment, to say like, when is enough? When will enough be enough? Because by going to that school, she's doing something for other people. It's a selfless act to help out those kids, and to think that it's just in her brain, it's just something she has to do and get it done with, shows that like she has no desire to ever do anything in this world to help other people. Her motivations and goals are always going to be me. How can I use God's gift that he gave me, which is to put me in front of a camera and make everything about me. And that just, ugh.
But again, guys, come back time and time again. It is self-involved, but there's so many other that go hand in hand with being self-involved, and that unfortunately is addiction. It is in all forms. It's a horrible disease, and that we've watched someone over now 8 weeks or 7 weeks, should I say, battling with, as I've said from the very first episode, you never conquer addiction, you manage it. And this is something that is lifelong for the rest of their life. But you pair that, unfortunately, addiction with something like being an actress, something where it involves someone that does have narcissistic tendency, that loves the limelight, that needs to be all about them. Your schedule is about them. You hire a guy, literally Matthew, and he says his schedule is her schedule. His entire you surround yourself with people that their entire life, they only also depend their income on you, but they make their whole life about you. It is probably one of the most selfish professions you could ever imagine. Right.
I mean, she's had her whole life. When she was little, all people in her team, it's not like she was an Olsen twin where she was like had another sister and it was like the two of them. It's always just been her. Every single thing. I mean, the mother, you can tell that like I don't know. I can't say Dina picks favorites, but like we said, who do you think that book is going to be? The majority of it is going to be about. It's always been her, and that is never going to be unlearned. I mean,
no.
Good luck, finding a good solid relationship. I mean, because it's so much work. She's only caring about herself. She basically said she just wants to work on herself right now. That's it. That's it.
Well, then more power to her, because I feel like this episode, it's easy to hate on Lindsay, but I feel like if the editing that we've seen in this episode is fairly true to how she is in real life, then she's making progress. And we're seeing that she is working. I am a little impressed with this inconceivable project. She claims to be executive producing it, but everybody in LA claims that they're a producer. Right.
It's just to have a name at the top of the list.
Yeah.
That's it. Just to have a recognizable name attached at the top.
But I think she handled the press with that really well. I think it's smart of her to start reaching out with old contacts, like that woman Hillary Shore, who's producer of Inconceivable, and then Randall Emmett, who's also executive producing it. And it's funny because both of those people said that they've known Lindsay for decades, and yet they didn't really know her during her downfall. So it's like, I don't know what that means. Is that their way of like avoiding talking about it on camera, or is it like
It could be.
choose to be ignorant to what happened.
They're like, look, we weren't that good of friends during that part, but we're good friends again
Yeah.
now.
That
We were good
Hillary.
friends before and after, but during.
That Hillary called her Angel. I'm wondering.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if now Hillary's calling her Angel. You know, like people. Lindsay tends to go sour on a lot of people after a while.
Yeah.
So I wonder what the status is currently. I mean, that Lindsay claims that this movie is going to start production in May. Right around the corner. So you know, I mean, with production, there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of stress, and this girl's a producer, so.
And there was something when Lindsay was having drinks with that woman Hillary. Lindsay even said, like, if there's anything I can do to help, please let me know. And
yeah,
that I
I'm willing
literally
to do
like
it all.
snorted. I was like, what? Girl, you are gonna sleep until 1, go to yoga at 3, and then pierce some Russian's ear at midnight and then go to bed. I mean, you are not, I cannot see her doing any pre-production on a film because it won't revolve around her. Like, pre-production is the opposite of you.
It's not. It's
Yeah.
doing the unglamorous, the gritty work behind the camera.
Yeah. And then that woman's like, we can crank it out in 5 weeks. And I'm like,
Without,
not with Lindsay
without
on your team.
Nothing's happening in 5 weeks.
You should keep Lindsay far away if you want it done in 5 weeks.
You just tell her where her dressing room is, where to stand, and just, you know, be glad. Be glad that she knows the lines.
You got to give, at the same time, some other positive things on that note of Lindsay throughout both the episodes was when we saw her doing the photo shoots. And I think we can all admit
She killed it.
The girl,
Yeah.
she can. I mean, shit, she's been doing it since she was 3 years old. Yeah. She had some of the like huge amount, ridiculous of commercials since by the time she was 4 years old. I mean, she does. She knows how to work a photo shoot. When she is on par, as they talk about, she does have talent. She is a great actress. And when she gets going and her head's clear, she is sober. She can hit it out of the park. Yeah. She will. And we saw glimpses of that.
Yeah, she really does know what she's talking about when it comes to the industry. And we've talked about that before. Yeah. And it's funny that if she is so passionate about like modeling and working in the industry, then like why does she let these tantrums get in the way? Like with the
that's what I was saying earlier.
Indonesia, like if she is so great at modeling and like dressing herself and stuff, then like why was that so hard for
That's
her?
what I was saying. She's happiest when she's working, but she doesn't allow herself to just get there.
She lets all this little shit get in the way of the bigger picture. I guess that's addiction. I don't know.
No, I think there's not just addiction in that. I think some of that too, especially I think the girl's coming off a little bit of low confidence. To be honest, she's been out of the industry for a bit.
Okay.
Possibly. And some of that, sometimes you procrastinate. You know, you do really want to do it, but sometimes you can have self-doubts. Right. You know, she's getting back out there in the public eye. She's like all of us. You kind of get nervous and you don't want to screw up. And she wants to do her best, but she's going to be a little bit rusty. And sometimes you can create all these obstacles because it's your own way subconsciously going,
she is human, yeah.
She did touch on that. When the second episode started, it showed Lindsay doing a video with Jared Leto. And I don't know if you guys saw that, but I saw it a few months ago when it came out. And it was just like this montage of celebrities talking about why they love LA, pretty much. I thought it was kind of cool. But it was interesting. Lindsay was asked what was her greatest disappointment in life so far, and she said herself. She got real. She got really real, and she was like owning up to being like, I've made some major mistakes, and like, you know, I can only move on from here. So it's interesting how I feel like that's very candid of her in a non-familiar environment.
A few moments of clarity where you're like listening to her, and it's really like, okay, this is truth. She's speaking truth.
Yeah.
And she says one thing and then does another.
You can feel it when she's telling the truth and when she's bullshitting
you can feel the Lindsay. You can feel Lindsay. There's Lindsay, and then there's Lindsay the addict, and there's Lindsay the actress.
Yes.
But then when we get those glimpses of just Lindsay, the real Lindsay, raw, you're like, yeah, there's another side to you that you really resonate with. You respond, you pick up those things, and you're like, God, I'm actually feeling a bit for you, girl. I know,
yeah.
You know, I am really impressed with how Lindsay has been doing all of these career moves, presumably with AJ out of the picture.
She's got the book deal, perhaps, that she's working on, an app with her brother Michael. more magazines, shoots, and publications.
Starting a movie. I mean, she said, my goals are to finish this movie and to just keep making movies and keep being aggressive with my career. So, like, something is sparked in her brain now.
I'm interested on that comment you made, though, Kylie, when you said we're doing this without AJ. Did you really feel that AJ was that, when she came into her life, in the second episode, did you really feel that she has been that big of a part?
Well, I feel like Lindsay did not have the gumption to seek out work on her own. And I felt like AJ was there to keep her in line. I mean, she was there to, like, get her up in the morning, start off breakfast, and do yoga, and then start planning out your career.
Light candles.
Just to kind of light a little fire under her ass. And so now that AJ's gone, she's still, something is lighting a fire under her ass because she's working.
Even when AJ was there, the antics were still being pulled.
Oh, absolutely.
She was still getting up later. And there was one episode where she was on schedule, but the rest, it kind of fell apart.
Yeah, I mean, I just assumed that the only way she could be accountable and, like, successful in following through with things in her career was if she had somebody really pushing her like AJ. So she's kind of proved me wrong.
Okay.
Well, here's how I view it. I view those days when she first came out of rehab, she had this whole team with the sober coach, with AJ, all there, as almost being more day by day. And so the scope was tighter. So we saw where she really wasn't working, where she was tripping up. And then as this series progressed, the timeline expanded much more over a longer period of time. So it looked like she was doing a lot of work, and she was going to China, and she was flying out and going to Miami, but it was only because I believe those were, like, the highlights in a longer span of time.
It seems like it's been a mellow few months for Lindsay, and so that's why they've scrambled to throw something together for this last episode.
It's like the timeline went day by day to almost like these last 2 episodes, but like months. We went from Jingle Ball to March of 2014. So it just
she's been laying low. I mean, I would rather. Okay, I'm going to say 2 different opinions. So, as a viewer of a TV show, I want her to have a freak out.
You wanted a tantrum.
Fuck up, because that's great TV.
Antics, drama, exactly.
But as a human being who wants another human being to just have a nice life, I'm happy for Lindsay that it took them 4 months worth of footage to throw together an episode, because that means Lindsay was not fucking up. Or she was skirting around anyone finding out if she was.
No, I agree.
You know, I like to believe that she really has been on track, and she's just been laying low and working on herself. So good for her in that sense. But she's still, guys, I got so many feelings, and I'm just trying to figure out, because I've just been every episode I'm like a little saltier towards her. Like, I feel like I have a bitter taste in my mouth.
You know who feels great about the whole situation is Matt. We're supposed to believe it as assistant Matt just thinks it's great. And,
suddenly everything's rainbows and sunshine with him.
Matt's gone from a relationship's good, it's a little bit rocky, to it's complicated. No, we're back on. I'm flying on the way back here. We're good.
I find it funny how the beginning of the series, when they were having issues, he didn't really have a problem with talking shit about Lindsay sort of candidly about how frustrated he was with her. But now that they're wrapping up the series and they're trying to get Matt to reflect on his working relationship with her, he throws in, there's a confidentiality clause in my contract, but what I can tell you is we have a nice working relationship. It's like, Lindsay had to have said something now when you're gone, don't you dare go to the tabloids about how crazy
I think Matt is professional enough where he wouldn't do it, because Matt probably knows he's ready to hit the unemployment line soon. So he needs to put out that perception that all this that you're seeing with Lindsay, I've got it. It's good. I think it's great. And now here's my application.
And by the way, if you'd like any further references, I can apply from any other, celebrity. I'm a great assistant, as you can see.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great commercial for Matt Harrell. Yeah. I mean, he handled it.
Bravo, Matt.
Yes, bravo. Tip my hat to you.
So I have a question for you guys. That moment where she was bitching at Matt out of the car window because she didn't get his text.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
then
haven't been getting anybody's texts, really.
And then he just kind of took it. He argued with her for a second and then just kind of took the abuse. And then there was another time where at the beginning of the episode when Lindsay was late for Billy on the Street for the Funny or Die video. And everybody's standing around waiting when she's going to come out. you know, how pushy is Matt supposed to be with Lindsay? Is he supposed to just cater to what she asks for? Or is he supposed to be like, come on, Lindsay, it's 3 o'clock. You really need to get your ass in gear. We need to get you to this shoot. Is that like, I don't know where his job starts and ends with that.
Well, I think she's his boss, and so he can only bend. So he can only like maneuver her so much and like push her around so much. She pays. And she kind of she reminded him of that with that earlier situation with the keys. She's
I feel like I'm
you work
working
for me.
For you.
That's right.
I think a lot of it comes down to their own personal discretion. What in terms of how they want their personal assistant. At the end of the day, they're hiring them.
Yeah.
So,
paying them.
and Lindsay said, I mean, she always has grown up with a lot of yes people. And it's always easier, of course, to surround yourself with the yes people.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, she's always had a personal assistant that's always been a yes person. I think most personal assistants are a yes person.
If you want to have a job, you have to be a yes person. Because if he kept pushing her, I could never be her assistant because I would just rag on her ass all day long. I'd be like, get your shit together. Wake up before noon and let's eat a real breakfast and go to yoga every day.
I'm here in a full 3-piece suit and it's 10 a.m. Let's go.
And she me in a 3-piece suit.
I went up early, came across the city, and I'm in a 3-piece suit.
One of
and
the
you're
best
asleep.
dressed personal assistants, I must say. That guy brings it every day.
Yeah, even at the airport, he landed right after. Now, this is what gets me speaking of this moment. He claims that he was paid beforehand up front.
Yep.
But then he goes to LA for weeks. That was what they said, weeks at a time. But he was paid up front, but yet he's not being let go because he was it's not a financial issue, but he's her assistant, but he's across the country. I mean, what's the truth?
He was on standby. Maybe he needed a little R&R. A break, because I'm assuming he works 7 days a week.
Yeah, I'm thinking like, when does this poor guy get to go to like a doctor's appointment? Like, I think about that.
Or grocery shop.
I know.
What happens if someone in his family died or something? Would she even be like?
I would hope she'd have a heart and let him go. But I was also thinking, like, you know, when it showed Lindsay like cooking pork chops and stuff, I was thinking like, if he's waiting on her hand and foot, is he eating with her? You know, what a weird thought.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's her food, so he wouldn't be eating it. Is he, like, off in the corner, like,
gets
eating
his own
McDonald's
little
because he doesn't have
section
time
where
to
he
cook because he's always waiting on her? I mean, it's like, I don't know much about
I mean, you know, I have a tremendous respect for him. He moved from LA to New York for this. He was really kind of almost enslaved by her. She really treated him poorly and would really, like you mentioned, one week she gave him a lashing. I mean, it really was like rough. And she expects him to prevent all these paparazzi from doing their jobs. One man and 5 photographers, and they need that shot for their livelihood. The expectations are crazy, and he suits up and goes and does it. It's really amazing. But I mean, you really have to be a certain type of person to want to live that lifestyle and to want to have that career. And I just wonder what the benefits are to that.
Yeah. It's interesting how throughout this series, there was all these people that Lindsay started out with, and then they kind of slowly fell off. Yeah, they trickled out. And so Matt had his exit this time.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. I really want to know what is her sober coach's name? Michael.
I
want to know his real opinion, and I want to know AJ's real opinion and Matt's real opinion. You know, like
I know.
I don't think, to be honest, I don't think you ever really you can't really ever get a real opinion from from Michael, but from AJ, I think so.
You think so?
Do you think? Or do you think she's under contract? She's not gonna.
Yeah, I feel like all these people are under contract, and also I don't think that they want to be known for talking too much shit because they want to have that, like, I feel like if they're shown as having a decent relationship with Lindsay on camera, that people will find them more credible.
She's going to get, regardless, AJ's hopefully, like Matt, depending on what his job position is later on, they're going to get further work from this.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, they've gone on this as well.
Yeah. And AJ and Lindsay are on good terms. I mean, they're not like, you know, throwing shade in the press at each other. They took that Instagram selfie a few weeks ago. They tweeted back and forth last week about, like, you know, I don't know if she showed her she was doing good, but it was like love and light or something like that. So I mean, it's not like they're on the outs. So I don't see why AJ would open her mouth. And then, of course, there's the confidentiality agreement with Matt, and then Michael. He works for a big time.
He can't, but through you know, counseling for legal reasons.
There's just no way. And so I don't know who would we get the real dirt from. Who would we get the truth?
It's
the production company.
crew. The production crew.
Amy, the director, who I feel like probably has no hair now because every day she'd wake up and probably fear that she was going to get a text message from Lindsay that there was no filming that day.
Yeah.
They must be relieved that this is done, but at the same time, it's like all that work, all that stress, all that scheduling, and the ratings aren't even very good.
You know what though? Like,
You know?
as a reality producer, I honestly don't give a shit about the ratings because it's a matter of what the network thinks. And they're going to shell out money to buy a show whether or not you watch it because they know maybe they can market it differently and get more viewers. You know, it's like once the show's made, it's done. I don't want to have anything to do with
next.
it.
Let's churn it.
Right, yeah, good point. I mean,
It's like it's done.
They're
and
not
over
losing
with.
sleep over it.
Where's the next job? You know,
Right.
that's
No,
just the
you're
way
right.
the industry works. And I don't think that anybody working on that show was really like had their heart into it. Like this was my life's passion to work on Lindsay Lohan's.
I think everyone
docuseries.
like ourselves, and I think like the viewers. I mean, guys, comment down below whether at YouTube or iTunes, and let us know. Did you feel like Kylie in particular, sort of betrayed and bitter and just kind of like fed up? All right, let's finish it all up. Put a little bow in it.
Yeah. I feel like I'm gonna be
I'm over
processing my feelings. It's like I want to hate on Lindsay, but like I feel like she kind of proved herself this episode. But then you know I think about all the abuse I've gotten from her in the earlier weeks. I mean, God, I don't even know the woman, and I feel abused.
I know. It's the whole thing is so frustrating, especially because she's promoting it. It goes back. She's promoting it now, and it's over. And to me, that just shows that just encompasses the whole project. It's just backwards.
It's like I think almost the story of her life, really. So always just one step too late.
Yeah.
Can we please talk about her final interview?
Yeah,
Because she said so many things.
We need to discuss what's happening with up to the minute, basically, with what's in the news, and then where things are going. Let's start off with the sex list. Now, you watched her on Andy Cohen, as many people did. Tell us what was said on there.
Well, look, I thought it was quite good that, and Andy said, I will refrain from drinking because they always do. Usually, Andy makes them have shots. There was no drinking. The audience was all drinking. So there was alcohol, around it. And
it's fine. She's cool with it.
she had to plead the fifth when it came up to this little game that they play. And then one of the questions was, he just wanted to know about the sex list. He rattled off two of the names on the list. And he's like, you know, just those two. Was that, can you confirm or not? And she's like, no, I'm not. Plead the fifth. And he's like, you already have. She's like, deny, confirm. And then she's like, look, I've got to set this straight. And she discussed exactly what she discussed on the Ends episode, saying, look, it was actually when I was in the Betty Ford clinic, I actually wrote that list as part of the fifth step. There's a bit of confusion, I know, with the fifth step. I thought it was for resentment.
It was a sexual encounter. Oh, no, I can say it was counter.
She said for a sexual inventory.
Yes.
But I think there's another, I don't know, there's some other,
Yes.
I've got a different definition of the
inventory
fifth
of
step
men
of that
and
they
women.
list it. Yeah. And so she wrote that for a sponsor, and the thing that she said, look, I was really hurt by it because the fact that someone within and she actually mentions on the show there that she said whether they've been in the episodes or not. So I hint there actually has been someone on the show that we've all seen was the one that took a snapshot of it and then released it. Right. She said when I was moving from the Beverly Hilton, and that's when it occurred. It's personal, it was embarrassing, it was shameful. By saying all that, you're confirming, yes, it is true. It is accurate. That is my list. And now it's out there. However, it was someone that has appeared on the show that has done this to me.
It's really too bad because it just goes back to like how Lindsay's touched before on how she's been betrayed so many times. And that doesn't really help that she's like getting betrayed again because that kind of stuff is what messes with her, you know?
But at the same time, Lindsay, how many people have you betrayed?
Oh, that's totally
a
true.
new level.
That's
I
totally
mean,
true.
let's
I don't
look
know.
at everybody else that we don't even. I mean,
yeah. I'm not
But
saying
we
that
can't-
she deserved that, but
I'm not saying
Yes.
two wrongs do make a right. I'm never saying that, but I'm just saying, you know,
a little karma action.
there's a lot of stuff that she has hurt and other people
She had that.
There's no doubt.
It was one of the few real truth, honest moments when she was discussing that sex list, because she did everything is like she doesn't want to discuss it. She doesn't want to go there. It's going to upset her. So it was good to actually see something go down with like her admit to something, especially because this list has been out there. She hasn't said anything, and they really kind of kept this quiet up until Andy Cohen, and then this episode.
Up until what, the press, the publicity for the show. Maybe hold on, suspense, draw.
Yeah.
Will we get a conclusion? Do we have to watch the final episode to find out?
Yes.
You know, Lindsay was also talking about as she's been watching the series so far. She said that when I watch it, I don't see it as me, and it's like, I interpreted that as she's watching herself lash out, and she's not like feeling like that was her being inappropriate. That was somebody else lashing out and being inappropriate. And it's like she's not owning up to the fact that she was being a psycho to Matt, or she was treating someone very poorly. Like, do you feel that way? That's how I interpreted that.
She didn't. Anybody else would say like, wow, like, you know, I did kind of look bad. Like, there were things that came up that I'm not really proud of. And, you know, it wasn't just the best experience overall. And, you know, I'm new to cameras, so new to the cameras being in my apartment. So, like, you know, maybe I just kind of effed up a little bit. But she didn't say anything. There was nothing like that.
It was so weird to me because she's like, isn't there anyone helping this girl? And it's like, how much more people in your life do you need?
I know, you got rid of them.
Yeah.
You pushed them out.
You're quiet, Stephanie.
It was... No, because the thing is, I wasn't taking as much. I think I was still sitting in the back seat, still holding on to her previous comment, which was, nobody realised why I wasn't filming for those 2 weeks because I had a miscarriage.
Where? What?
I was like, all right, Lindsay.
Because
I was going to say, this episode, this is all you've got? Really? This is all you're going to finish on? You've got to drop something here. Boom!
Yeah.
That's their like Game of Thrones ending for the series. It's like, how can we have a shocking ending? Get Lindsay to reveal something that might be bullshit, but we don't know.
And of course she uses that as the biggest excuse of the whole series, because it was like those 2 weeks when I was really not around and I was busy, it was because I was like really sick because I had this miscarriage. And it's like here's another excuse. And is it true?
But do we
Who's
know?
the baby daddy?
I don't know whether to believe her or not. I think she was being truthful, but like it just came so left field that I'm like, I should have felt bad. Like, obviously, a miscarriage is a really sad thing.
Yes,
but
guys,
I was just
please,
so
we're not. I just
no,
want to make this
no, not
we're
at all.
not disrespecting miscarriage at all. It is a very serious, and it's
It
not
is,
something
but it's,
what you know. I don't want to.
We've been told a lot of things from Lindsay, and we have the right to question this.
Yeah, the reason I rolled my eyes was because I'm so frustrated at whether I can believe her. Is she credible, or is she just trying to make shit up? You know?
I wrote that. I said,
I have no idea.
I wrote that when it ended. My last note was, "What is the reality?"
Exactly.
It's
what
also
is
something
the reality
that
here?
you can't easily prove.
No, and
It's not like
No, but I mean the whole series. I don't just mean this outlandish statement.
Yeah.
What is the reality of this girl's life? Does she have it together? Is she sober? Is she going to be a success? Where is she going next? You know, where's Dina? I mean, but really though, like, what's going on?
Is that all time for the predictions?
Let's go into it. Actually, let's do some quick news and gossip, actually.
yeah.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So we've had our opinions throughout this run of 7, maybe 8 episodes, 7 here on AfterBuzz, and we're not alone. Rosie O'Donnell spoke out about it, and she usually is one to have an opinion.
Rosie.
And she, not afraid to like say the truth, she calls it a tragedy on every level.
Oh, Rosie.
She says, I hope one day she gets sober for real and watches these episodes and see what we all do.
But do we know if she's sober for?
I know. Well, that's what I'm saying. What is the reality? And Lindsay, of course, fired back on Andy Cohen. She said, "Oh, she must be bored." And then so Rosie took to Twitter once again and said, "Bored? I have 5 kids. Hard to be bored. I have concern about your health as many do. You have had a rough road."
Fighting with Lindsay is a lost cause, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, but Rosie always has her 2 cents.
Yeah, right.
I mean, Rosie does enjoy a bit of a biff with anybody in the public life.
Lindsay made an appearance on The View, and she, like you mentioned, and we just said she was on Andy Cohen. Both shows were pre-taped, proving that she still can't do these shows that are live. She still can't really make them.
She doesn't make her call
She was
times.
late, by the way, for the Andy Cohen.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. She came, but she was late for the production.
What's her call time at 1 o'clock?
And
you know what time that would mean? 4 o'clock.
Yeah, it's like
Lindsay's world.
4 or 5. She might roll in.
Yeah. And I absolutely can't stand The View. But this show, they put her on a Friday episode, which the Friday episode, sometimes they say it's live and it's BS. They always tape double shows on Thursdays. And in this case, I think they taped a double show for her on a Wednesday. And so that's how they got away with having her come in and not doing the live show, because we'll put her on the canned one on Friday. They were there, and Barbara Walters asked her and basically was like, so when is the show starting? It's over. So,
ouch. Is that more of a kick in the gut? Like,
no, it's just Barbara Walters, and it's time to probably retire.
No, but is that not like a comment when
Ellen,
when she was on Ellen, she's like, and Ellen actually said, hold on, did you used to sing?
Oh, yeah.
And Lindsay's like, well, clearly that just shows my singing career. And then Barbara's like, hold on, has this show, it's been done? Oh, okay.
I don't think it was shade. I just think, I mean, Barbara's done on May 16th, and yeah. I mean, she just did it. I mean, but these people have cards in front of them. They're briefed. The show had an actual start date in March. It's not a mystery. Anyway, I just had to comment on that. In other news, our girl Dina, she finally admitted her guilt with this DUI. She was driving 77 at a 55-mile speed in a zone. She had blood alcohol level of twice the legal limit. And then she turned around and she blamed the paparazzi because they were causing her stress.
Paparazzi or not, I'm sorry, a DUI, at the end of the day, you are putting other people's lives at risk. Sorry, Dina, I don't care. You can do community service until the cows come home, because if you had killed an innocent person, or for that, multiple people, because you were drunk and driving, no, I don't care.
She's paying allegedly a $3,000 fine, 100 hours of community service, and there's a breathalyzer that's going to be installed in her car that she has to pay as a rental fee to use. Her attorney, Mark Heller, is quite the character, and when this all got done, he said, on this, the first day of Passover, an offer has been made to Dina Lohan that is too good to pass over. No jail, no probation, and the opportunity to resume her driving. He goes on to say, Miss Lohan has considered her options. She's very pleased with this deposition and the beautiful beginning of a holy week.
All spoken in NYPD accent as well.
Are
Very
the
official.
Lohans Jewish?
No.
What does it have to do with Passover?
I don't know, but I like this Mark Heller guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny.
Oh,
Happy Passover.
Another report said that Dina said, she turned to the press and she said, I'll never be back here again. You can quote me on that one. And Dina turned around before leaving and took off in a white Rolls Royce. This is true.
So dramatic.
This is why I like Dina.
Oh, this Lohan family is just.
Well, let's just hope Dina's book gets a multi-million-dollar deal or something. Lindsay did mention these episodes it is finished, but she's gonna need it to pay off all
that
this.
ghostwriter, you're talking about Amy Rice, the director pulling her hair out. That ghostwriter working with Dina, she's too done.
Probably has a lot of gray hairs on her head after listening to Dina.
Do you have any news and gossip?
No, sorry. I got nothing.
I mean, it's all been left on the court. I mean,
I don't have news and gossip because I feel so abused after this series.
You don't even want to
R&R
Google.
from Lindsay. Yeah.
From it.
Again, I mean, what is the reality? And let's go into predictions.
Yeah.
What's next?
Yeah.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
So this movie's coming out. It's coming into production in May. What could go wrong? It's with Lionsgate. I mean, it's a legit movie, where she's not like financing it herself or anything. But is this the opportunity that we've been working towards? Is this that big break that's her to get back on track and get her career together? Is it too early or too late?
I'm curious to see if this movie has the same publicity around it as The Canyons did, because there was all those like alleged arguments between Lindsay and the director, and she was being awful on set. I may also be friends with somebody who worked on that film that said personally that she was not the most enjoyable person to be around on set as a crew member. So I'm curious to see if her attitude changes. And if she really, I mean, she sold it to me in this episode that she's ready to be aggressive and get serious about her career. So now this is the time for her to prove it. So I would like to see that. And you know what? I'm not saying this is a prediction, but I would just like to see her not go back to rehab because she doesn't need it. I don't know. See that, yeah, I cannot predict if she's going to. I really don't know if she's going to go back, but I would like to see her never go back to rehab again. What about you?
What do you think?
Look, overall, it would be Lindsay herself watching her over these episodes, and I'll take the same with you. I think I would really like her to do well in this movie. I don't think her antics, that's part of Lindsay. I think she's always going to be relatively difficult to work with. That doesn't necessarily mean it takes away that she can't perform when she needs to. Yeah.
There are a lot of difficult people in this industry.
Yeah, and they can be brilliant. They're good at some things, and clearly just social communication and well, not even communication, but working with others isn't their forte. I think, though, from completely health related, from looking at her as an addict, I really would love for her not to significantly relapse. Now, we all talk again, as I said, it's an ongoing, lifelong management she's got now ahead of her. It's a tough road, Lindsay, for anybody. It's not just Lindsay, the celebrity. I'm thinking for all addicts in general. And she does have a lot of people around her, a lot more support than a lot of people do that are in the same position as her. Clearly showing it's not necessarily how much money you have, how many people you have. It really is an internal disease. And I really wish her all the best. I hope that any little slip-ups, she's able to keep on going through it, and that she doesn't have a major turnfold, that she needs to go back, and that she keeps on going. I mean, the girl is young. She's in her 20s. Nobody needs to end their life before at any age, like 30s or 40s. Right. And for the sake of her own health, I really wish her all the best. Whether her career finishes up, that's another thing. Right. The most important thing, girl, I hope you get your health and life on track.
I wish her well, too. But I have really given this a lot of thought, and I think that she's in a place where she went to rehab all these times, and she mentioned that she wasn't always ready. It was court ordered. She had to go. And now this time it resonated with her. But she does not seem to me to have the proper skills to move forward. I think that she is going to have to go back at some point. I think that the opportunity is going to come up where she might even, maybe she'll elect to go in herself. But I do think she's got more lessons to learn here, especially being around people who are so, you drinking next to her and with her, and like these falling off the wagon situation she's had. She's not 100% there, and there's just too many cracks. And I think over time, there might be a seventh entrance into rehab. But I wish her the best. I hope not. But from what I'm seeing, the actions, the behaviors, and the patterns, I think she could go in.
I wouldn't be surprised. God, what a bummer way to end this episode, guys.
Right, we're not ending it that way then. All right, we need to be positive and happy. Let's.
None of us are going to be surprised if you relapse again, Lindsay, but we hope you don't. Yes. That's it.
Exactly.
Get it together. Have a good career. Be happy and sober, please.
Exactly.
For the love of God.
God bless you. All right. Well, thank you so much for all of our listeners and YouTube commenters and everything. We really appreciate it. It makes the experience so much better. So thank you. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at GrantMichaelR. Where can we find you, Stephanie?
Guys, you can follow me on Twitter at Host McGrath, and you can also find me on YouTube at Stephanie McGrath Host.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at the Kylie Hodges and on americascomedy.com.
Thank you, Lindsay, for everything.
Bye, LL. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AFTERBUZZTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AFTERBUZZ TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.